Mr. President, there has been a long discussion about how long you will stay and when you will organize elections. How long will the transition last? Is it today? Do you have an answer to this, or do you think it is not a priority? For you, how long will Captain Ibrahim Traore be in charge before organizing elections to step down?
I was going to ask you a question in return before answering you.
I'm not here to answer questions.
Sir, it's a debate. It's nice. If today, in 6 months, we decided to abandon the people, you, as a very objective man, aware of our situation, what would you say? What would your comment be?
Honestly, I prefer to stick to that, even though you know my true thoughts.
All right. Since we've been here, we haven't taken a single day off. The whole exec.
But when you say that, politicians say, this is our job, since there are those who do it. They do their job. We want to return to democracy. We want to go back to parliament with people who are elected. We want to let the people speak. Are we staying like this or setting up a new model? They learned here. We don't want them learning elsewhere and applying it here.
To put them on the right track. They learned their profession. This profession is... We don't want people to learn this profession elsewhere and come apply it here. We want to create a model. Because the way things are done here is in fact not the right way.
For you, sir, President, there's no question of talking about organization, about elections and transition.
Yes, we're going to organize the local elections right now.
So we need to reset everything.
No. Aside from the system that's in place, which needs to be reviewed, the elections, they concern all of Burkina Faso. Do you think they are ready today to go to Soleil, to Falangonto, to campaign like... But they are Burkina-based. They must definitely vote.
First, we need to get the wire through.
There needs to be a minimum level of security so that if there's a campaign, people can go everywhere in Burkina, explain their ideas to the Burkinabe people, and the people will choose, because it's no longer about distributing goods. There will be reforms on the electoral code. It's over, that's it. If you get caught up in this, you will be disqualified. Well, I'm not going to get ahead of Iran in the water, but I can tell you that there are reforms coming. This way of doing things, of buying people's consciences, is over. Our mission is to awaken people's consciousness so that they never accept this again. If you think you can govern the country, you need to explain your political program. What are you going to do? And maybe after a while, the people will evaluate whether you should continue your term or not. In short, we won't say everything, but there will be reforms in the electoral system. And to participate in the elections, all Burkinabes must vote.
We know, when it comes to West Africa, the document that African countries were made to sign as they attained their quote-unquote independence, the document that's labeled the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. On one hand, we are giving you your independence, but on the other hand, we want you to sign this document, agreeing to continue to be colonized. And if you choose not to sign this document, in my pocket, I have a gun that has your name.
Let's talk about the man at the center of it all, Captain Ibrahim Traore. We've talked about him quite a lot here on The Breakdown. In a continent where too many leaders are clinging to power, serving foreign interests, or recycling the same elite playbook, Traore is a different kind of figure.
Yes, my beautiful people, wherever you are, I hope that you are doing good, you are doing okay. And if you are not, I pray that you be well and feel all right. Right, and we are still in Burkina Faso. You know, at this time, Burkina Faso is still an interesting, like a documentary to follow up, because what is happening in Burkina Faso and what's happening in towards Ibrahim Traore, this is just a wake up. This is just a wake up, and he is trying to show his strength, his capability of dealing with the issues that can attack any man at any time. So he's just trying to show us that whenever and whatever the matter that comes in, you have to find the way, you have to find the solution, you have to fight, but you don't just have to give up and start crying maybe to the people so that you can get help. That was one of an interesting interview I came across internet, and I feel like I have to talk about this. This was an one-on-one interview of Ibrahim Traore with a journalist, and he was being asked several questions, and the way he was powerfully answering these questions gives us some. We are still focusing on this guy, the American guy, the General Michael Langley. Ibrahim Traore is not the guy they are thinking of. Ibrahim Traore is something different. Is someone different from what they think. And the fact is that these people know the truth. They know very well the truth by dead, but they are just trying to put some allegations against this guy so that people can feel like this guy maybe is doing something which is not okay, or something which, of course, democracy doesn't allow. But I and you, we really know very well that Ibrahim Traore, he's not ruling at iron hand, or he's not ruling a democracy, because he came to power after himself declared as the head of state of Burkina Faso, and that is where the problem started. So I just want us to listen to this speech, this interview. We listen everything to the end, and then we will come and react at the end of it and know what is happening. And
our country has long been in a very complicated system. Most of you who are young like me, we were born into this system. But that's not what can allow Burkina to thrive. Because in this situation, there are only two cases. Either we accept to fight, or we remain slaves forever. I told you once, there are those who are slaves in their minds. They can only serve their master. And those people try every time to manipulate you. You must advise each other. Because every situation can be exploited by these enemies of the nation to try to discourage you, to demotivate you. So you must advise each other and not pay attention to certain remarks, even on some media. Not everyone is obliged to be patriotic. You are the first patriots. You have decided to defend the homeland. There is nothing better than that. Those who want to support you, let them support you. Those who want to discourage you through writings, you must close your ears and move forward. As for those, we will fight them here. So, we must remember something. Recently, there is a so-called NGO. It's not even an NGO. Because NGO stands for non-governmental organization. They are not non-governmental because they are funded by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports claiming that the FDS and the VDP commit abuses. It went in here, it came out there. It's to tarnish your morale. It's to scare you, to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Moreover, we are going to file a complaint against this NGO because people need to understand something. What is happening to us here? It's true that they have manipulated part of our populations in the Sahel here, but they didn't have that kind of weaponry. What brought such significant weaponry into their ranks? It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO.
of course, as you have just listened to this interview, you can judge by yourself and know is Ibrahim Traore and what is his intentions. What makes him to come to the power? What makes him to come and capture the government of Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso has been under very serious issues. the crisis, instability, security instabilities, and the government, of course, Burkina Faso was falling. And what this country needed is a good person or a good leader who can come and save this country from the direction that it was heading. And I think, as we know, Ibrahim Traore just came in and take over the power. He just take the power, and democratically, we know that. But he is not ruling Iron Man. He is not ruling Iron Hand, but yet he is not ruling a democracy democratically. But he is just giving up his best. He is just giving out his best leadership. And what we as Africans have come to discover this time is that it's not anything that we believe it's good. It's good. Some things we believe that is good, is useful, but we find that this thing is very useless to us. Of course, in African countries, democracy is something that should mean good to the people. Democracy is something that should be presented and protect each and everyone, whether it's a leader or a common citizen. That's how the democracy should work. But now in African countries, things are different. Democracy, instead of helping the common citizens, instead of protecting, giving the ways on how and guiding the citizens and the leaders on how the country should run, the same democracy is helping a few group of people which are leaders, so that they can defend themselves, so that they can do some things and claim that they are doing their things according to democracy. And that is where the problem of Africa is. That's where Africa is finding a lot of problem. So that's why there is a day William Ruto of Kenya tried to call Ibrahim Traore a Democrat. But the way he replied to William Ruto is that what is happening or what is going in Kenya, and claim that they are working under democracy, he better stay out of democracy but give out his best. It's better he leave out democracy but do what is beneficial to the citizens, because the citizens always need the best from their leaders. They don't need democracy, they need good leadership. There's no way you can give out your democracy, you can maintaining your democracy, and the citizens of a country are just complaining every time. That's not democracy. Then this means that this democracy is not meaningful to the people. So what Ibrahim Traore is doing in this country should be an example. And he was confidently saying that if the citizens or the Burkinabes could be crying or saying that they are starving of democracy, then they are losing their way. They are losing, because they have been under democracy for several years. But what happened to democracy to Burkina Faso? What anything good has come out of Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso has been known as the country of poverty, security instabilities, massive debts. The country consists of several and many sorts of minerals, but these minerals are not helping any citizen, but it's just helping some people who are foreigners from this country. They are the one who are controlling these minerals. They're the one who are controlling what should happen in the country of Burkina Faso. The armies and the security system of Burkina Faso never had that power to control the country or to guide and safeguard the country. But the foreign leaders and foreign security system was the one operating in Burkina Faso. So why do these people still talk about democracy? And according to this journalist, the people of the leaders and the politicians of Burkina Faso are the one who are pushing Ibrahim Traore to step down and let a democracy, that the people should practice their democracy. They should be given the chance, the opportunity to elect their leaders. These people are being pushed. Those people who are saying that they need a democratic way, they want the citizen to go and vote for their leaders, elect their leaders to the office democratically. These are the leaders who are being pushed. But the people who want to come back in this country and control their resources. But they have come up to the point where they have to put some allegation against this guy so that they can find a good way to solve this guy, so that they can get good opportunity to take down this guy. But as you know, this is not a leader. He was not voted to come to the power. He is a soldier. And a soldier has one thing in mind. And what he always thinks is the mission. Mission is the king to any soldier. He rather die, but die in the reign of duty. And when he die in the reign of duty, he feels like now that is what is good to him. And that is Ibrahim Traore. This guy, as you know, he has faced several assassination attempts. If he was someone who was just elected and come to the power, maybe he could have just give up and get off the power. But he's there. He's saying that he's not afraid to die. He better die fighting for his people than to run away and left his country, the country that he vowed to die for, and let the country to interfere, to let his citizen to suffer in the hands of some people. He is ready to die fighting for his people, and that is his mission. And I don't see anything bad with this, because we are still in this guy called Langley. They thought Ibrahim Traore is just like the other people who just came to power and they were just swept away. This is someone who is very different and considered that he is being supported with everyone. All the black people has come up and said that they want Ibrahim Traore, because they have we as the black people and Africans, we have find someone who can show us the way, who can tell us that this is what we have to do, who can tell us that we have to safeguard and protect this because it belongs to us. That's right. And we have to celebrate this. We have to celebrate this because the leaders of Africa today, all African leaders, they are depending on loans and high taxes. There is a white guy once who said that the African countries cannot develop. Why? Because the leaders of these countries are depending on loans. And from after they get these bigger loans, they are depending on the high tax. They are putting a high tax in their countries. And the reasons to put this high tax is that they think that maybe by doing this, they can raise a lot of money so that they can pay their debts. But what they don't know is that after they put this, the large amount of taxes, that's where they're starting to bring up the bigger problems. Because the citizens, once they're paying a lot, the high tax, it means that the economy is lowering every day. It means that the people are losing employment opportunity every day. It means that there are a high number of unemployment in the countries, and this cannot support the country's economy, but it will only fall and dissolve the economy of the country. Because the generation will be coming, the generation after the generation, all they are doing is to pay debts they never take. All they are doing is to pay debts which they don't know how it came to their country. So they are doing this just to impress the white people, so that they can feel like they are raising money to pay debts, so they are good in raising money. So let's listen to this guy briefly, and we'll react in this first.
Poor African countries have the lowest wage workers in the world, and yet a company like Nike, for instance, can't put a factory in one of those countries because of the oppressive tax rates. Taxes have killed any possibility of economic development. They've killed any hope of these countries ever helping themselves. helping themselves. And that leaves them completely at the mercy of charity and loans. And here's the worst part. You know why those countries have such high tax rates? Because of us, to show us that they can raise enough money to pay back their loans. But taxes can't raise any money if they kill the economies. So it turns out that the tragic, unintended consequence of our good intentions toward Africa, our kindness, is that we have encouraged those countries to lock themselves into a gruesome economic depression. If we don't urge those countries to cut their tax rates, they will never grow their economies. People will live lifetimes of unemployment. Disease will be rampant, poverty will be permanent, children will be hungry, and our charity will never be enough.
Welcome back. That's what he has to say. So, when we can find the good leaders who don't believe in debts, in loans, in aids, then it means that we can take our countries very far. We have to depend on what we have. We have to utilize what we have so to build our countries, so to build and improve our infrastructures, so that we can improve the lives. We can create more jobs to the youths. We can create more opportunities. We can improve our security systems just by depending on what we have, than depending on some peoples to borrow us some loans, and what the country is collecting as the revenues, they are all going out of the country to pay debts. So when will we have enough money to develop our countries? It will be very hard. And this is what Ibrahim Traore is trying to encourage our leaders, that we can do without loans. We can do without depending on some people. We can do anything in our countries just depending on what we have, our resources, our taxes. That small taxes that we're collecting, we can use this money to build our countries. This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. So, by doing this, then he has been claimed to be a thief, a terrorist, and undemocratic. All those, they are not helping us. What we feel like it's okay to us is that he is doing good, he is performing to his country, and not only in his country, but he's trying to shape up Africa, because all that the people who are supporting this guy, they're not Burkinabes only, but they're all black people, all the Africans, and even the white people. Those are in Africa and in diaspora, in outside Africa, they're all standing with this guy because he's doing great. He's doing best he can do. He is working more than a leader, but he's just delivering the good and best leadership that we could need. This is Kenyan Explorer. Don't forget this channel. I appreciate your support for this long journey that we have been. I appreciate you very much, and we have to continue in this way. This is the place we talk, we explore, and more find the truth concerning our Africa. Stay tuned until next upload. Stay tuned and stay blessed.
Africa was not originally called Africa. We had a completely different name. Wow. I'm going to tell you what Africa was called, why the name changed, and who changed it. Pay attention. The landmass we now know as Africa was home to many peoples over the centuries: Moors, Numidians, Nubians, Carthaginians, and Ethiopians. The name Africa was created by Europeans, and the Romans popularized it in the West as part of their conquest of the region, specifically the northern parts of the continent. The word Africa was Greek and Latin origin. Africa in Latin means sunny, and Phrike in Greek means the spirit of horror. The land was known by many names, such as Ortygia, Kofi, Libya, and Ethiopia. But what was the original name of Africa? The indigenous name. It was Al-Kabulan, which translates to the Garden of Eden and Mother of Mankind.